Welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast, Tuesday, April 19th, 2022. We're into the NBA playoffs. That's Ian Ferguson.
That's me. Hello.
Pat Contry. On the show today, we'll be talking about lots of good stuff. Ian knows what's up. I returned to the flea market for the first time in several months. We're talking about the Streets of Rage film, potentially. We'll get Ian's thoughts on that. An impending lawsuit against Wada Games. That's big, big news, as Ian would say. And a Patreon poll topic and some voicemails. Ian played pinball and did some edible cooking up this past weekend. You can hear all about it on the exclusive Patreon See You podcast segment every week.
I don't think I ever mentioned what place I finished in, though. I finished in 7th of 8th place.
Spoilers. 7th of 8th place. Go to patreon.com/See You podcast for that. He did that. What did I do this weekend, Ian? I returned to the flea market.
You shopped till you dropped.
Yeah, if you can say that. Like the quickest flea market outing ever, if not for talking to my pal Luis, who sells there, and we reminisced and catched up. And so I've known his kids since they were really little babies 10 years ago.
Warm.
So Frank, of course, goes, "Hey Pat, I want to hit the swapper this weekend." When Frank says that, there's like a 40% chance he'll show up.
The swapper?
Yeah, the swapper. There's like a 40% chance that he'll actually show up. I know this going in, but I hadn't been in so long.
Sure.
I've been in sort of a rut, not going out that much the past several months almost, going out every once in a while. So I was like, I'm going to go to the swap meet. You know, I got some Pat cash on me. It's Easter. Easter's usually fun in the swap meet in the past. It's actually pretty full. Not this time. I tweeted a big long thread about it. My experience. I didn't film it. Before you say anything, there will be nothing to film. Nothing to film. So I went there, Ian. There were some retro games there, but it seems like the acceleration of the upswing in prices since the pandemic obviously has hit the flea market, but more so than it's now like gross. Like, so the one seller who's there a while who sells a bunch of crap. They have like trumpets and skateboards and stuff. And there's always a little short with me on things and communication. You know, like a box of like 15, 20 games. This is on my Twitter thread, Pat the NES Punk on Twitter. The one guy, his helper, goes, I go, how much are these games? And these are like standard games. Like the best game out of them, Ian, I don't even know. Track and Field 2 could have been on there. Like, we're not talking first party like hitters here. Oh, they're 10 or 15 or 20 each. That's like, I think Spy Hunter was one of the highlights in there. And I'm like, okay, sure. Then there was a bin of controllers and things of that nature. I think there was an NES in there. I saw a Dogbone NES controller. Caught my eye. I'm like, okay, Dogbone. I don't know what they go for nowadays. There's aftermarket ones, but they were usually expensive back in the day because they're coveted. I don't like them because the B and A are slanted the wrong way on them.
Yeah, I don't like them either.
It's a great D-pad though. Anyway, so I pick it up. I didn't ask about it. I start digging through. The guy goes to me, "Oh, you're messing that stuff up. We're still setting up. It's the same stuff on the bottom," is what he told me. The same stuff on the bottom. Meaning that like the top layer would have been exactly the same controllers. I just walked away. I looked at him. I was like, no, I'm going to be a good boy. I'm not going to get into anything. The snarkiness was building up and I just walked away. Just walk away.
I would not have been able to resist myself.
Just walk away. We will spare your lives. God, it's such a great movie, Road Warrior. Anyway, so I walk away. There was another, Wario was not there. There was a younger reseller there who has a good variety of stuff. They're the ones I think I pointed out they had bootleg Super Nintendo games a couple years ago. They had the Ninja Gaiden trilogy that I was like, this is not a real game.
Right.
So they have a good variety of stuff. They had about 40 to 50 NES games there easily, maybe 60. And then they had like 10 Famicom games. So I'm like, oh, caught my eye. I run over. There was one that looked like almost Bub and Bob from Bubble Bobble. They weren't. There was some other dinosaur duo that I was like, I don't know what this is, because it wasn't a Taito game. I don't know what it was. But then I came across, Ian, one of my favorite NES games that's ridiculous, Scoon. NES Punk episode.
Yeah.
They had Scoon on Famicom, which I believe I have. It's one of the ones with the little LED in the top, little jewel LED on it.
Was it Nuts and Milk?
It might have been Nuts and Milk. Probably worth like $4. You know, because that's a common one probably. There's not many Famicom games worth anything overall. So I pick up Scoon because I'm curious, because I'm not sure at the time I have it. I only own about 15, 20 Famicom games. No, I brought a box to SoCal. I don't count that because I don't know what the hell those are. I have like 15 games I know about. The Google 13 games, I have both of them. So I go, how much is Scoon? expect them to say like $5-10. It's Scoon. $30. Probably because I picked it out. They probably know, oh, this person thinks is worth money. That's where I'm at. I can't even trust because I'm saying I'm interested in it. They probably think it's worth money. So I'm like, okay, I'm not buying a damn thing here. Then I go to another guy. Again, I tweeted this out. He had some 90s computer games, and he had one NES game. He had TNC for $5. He said, oh, I had 45. Last week I was here, I had 45 NES games. And they all went. I'm like, okay, sure. But TNC wasn't bought. I'm like, okay, that's weird. Someone bought all of them, but not TNC.
TNC.
That's weird.
They're lying to me.
He wanted $5. You hear that a lot. People, for some reason, some vendors are like, oh, yeah, I have a lot of that. And it's like, no, you don't. There was one guy for years who said, yeah, I'll bring that stuff out. You never did.
Scoon, $12.80 with $7 shipping from Japan.
It's a $10 game.
$22 buy it now. $12 with $7 shipping.
They were gouging Pat because I was interested in it.
$10 with $5 shipping.
Yeah, they were gouging Pat. They're gouging Pat. And I was just being innocent because I love Scoon. No one loves Scoon besides me. Anyway, so you've seen my Scoon video, of course.
Mm-hmm. I have seen that one.
Oh, you have?
I'm sure I have.
With my song at the end?
Would have been a long time ago.
That was like 2015 or 14. So that was a bad experience. So this guy had like 90s PC CD games. He had a price list down below. And they were prices not just from eBay. They were like other sources. I didn't even know what they were. Like Price Point or these other weird selling apps all over the place. So he was saying, oh, I want 50% of those prices. And like the games didn't have the boxes. A lot of them just had like the CD jewel case, no like extras or feelers. I'm just looking at them like this ain't happening.
This is not going to
be my favorite part about this is that he had a flight stick, probably from like 87. Remember the thick one, the thick base one, and the top one. If I showed you, you would have saw it.
Probably.
It was one of the more deluxe ones for like the mid 80s.
Okay.
We'll just say. He wrote in Sharpie on the side, vintage joystick, $10. He printed out a whole price list, but for the one thing he couldn't be bothered to even write it on his price list, he ruined it by writing it in fucking Sharpie on the side of it.
I've never but still, that's ridiculous.
I've never seen that in my entire life, writing on something like that. On the base of
That's like shipping a boxed system in the box and just putting a shipping label
which
on
happened to me when I bought my Odyssey shooting gallery rifle.
I know a lot of people who have had that happen.
And I shipped it back and they were like, wow, it was in the box. I said, listen, half of the value of this stuff is the box. This thing is from 1972 or 73. Flight stick vintage. I'll show you this. You would know which one it was. It has like the floaty top on it. This is it, Ian. This one right here. That one. Oh. You've seen that one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's a standard one. He wrote on the side of it because it's big enough.
I used to play Air Fox on my Apple II, I think.
Oh, you had that? Was that an Apple II one too?
I think they made an Apple II version.
Yeah. So it was, in terms of the size of the swap meet, it was like bigger than a Friday. You know, small it is on Friday, but not by much.
Bigger than a bread box, but...
It was like half the size of what it should have been. There was none of the horizontal rows in the back, only the verticals, and it stopped way before the end. I took a sad picture of like showing that it was like half full. And again, it was Easter, but I've been to Easters before where it was pretty much full. So I'm just like, okay, is this really dead or is it a weird Easter? Maybe it's the first time people want to go out because it's maybe the first Easter in a few years where you get together. But Easter is usually like Easter dinner. It's not in the morning.
Right.
It's not like Super Bowl Sunday where you want to get prepped early in the afternoon. So it was depressing. I ended up buying a new master lock for my friend who needed one for her locker. Brand new $3 master lock. And then I bought a straw hat, a new straw hat for me working in the garden, a big one. Plus my other one's old. Like I got the biggest
big
one.
Old floppy.
They're like $6. They're not the floppy. This is the hard one.
Oh.
$6 only. I don't know how they make money on them.
Wonderful.
So I got that. And that's about it. Like, I bought 2 Suave antibacterial bottles because you always see someone has like 40 of them brand new. I bought 2 of them. Just you always want an extra antibacterial, you know, especially if you shake hands with Ian. You want? No, I'm kidding. We never shake hands. We never hug. We never shake hands. We never kiss.
Nope.
So that was my Sunday. Then Frank made chicken marsala. You need some chicken marsala
Love
for
chicken
dinner.
Marsala.
And I went carbo loaded Sunday night. That's good. NBA playoff weekend was fun. Dubs up 2-0 on the Nuggets. They look like it looks like they're going to potentially make it to the finals. They can get past the Suns. There. Yeah, so that was my weekend there.
Nice.
I also went to my PO box for the first time. So I have a UPS address. I have my old PO box still that I use because people would want to send me stuff. And remember the old Frank crates from several years back? We do the loot crate and the Frank crate, and people sent Frank more stuff than me back then. So I kept my PO box because whenever I go there, there's a few things in there, like packages. I hadn't checked since the stuff is dated. I hadn't checked my PO box for over almost a year and a half.
Jesus Christ!
I still pay for it. It's like $180 because it's a coveted location. PO boxes vary based on where you are. Some places are probably really cheap. So I got a few things. Someone sent me. Where's the letter? Someone sent me their old PlayStation, Ian, with some controllers. 4 PS2 controllers, including the see-through purple one, and then a pack of games that Ian went through that said that most of it was garbage, but there was like a Silent Hill disc only.
Yeah,
other things. And he sent me a note. This is like old times past. So I'll read it because this was sent a long time ago, and I feel bad. But my PO box isn't like public anywhere anymore, except for those old videos. Or maybe they saw the old video and sent it. Hey Pat, just want to let you know that I'm a big fan of your YouTube channel and podcast. While cleaning out my room, I found some of my old system that I hope you like to have in your collection. Thank you. Keep up doing what you are doing, bringing lots of entertainment to me and other people. P.S. Your Ultimate NES book is my go-to book when I'm researching NES games. Check is in the mail. Thank you, Nick. Thank you so much for that. So I got that. And then I got a Genesis game from Neoft Studios. Neoft. How do you say that?
NeoFD.
NeoFD. There you go. I guess. In a magnet clasp that I always struggle with these. I'm always like, how do you slide these out? It takes me a minute to realize, oh, it's a magnet clasp. So this is a nice packaging. And you know about this. It is a Demons Esteborg. Esteborg?
Yes.
And there's a little cloth map in here, which is interesting. There's a little cloth map, little feelies, little cards, and then there's a little... I thought this was a pen opener, and it's not, or a letter opener. It's a USB stick. This is where, I guess, the digital game is on.
That's cool.
There. So thank you so much, NeoFD Studios, because I don't believe we ever mentioned this or brought this up. It's just they decided to send
I would play it.
You want to borrow it?
Yeah, I might.
Okay. I always let you borrow stuff. You borrowed my River King for like 30 years.
I gave it back to you already.
I know, but you had it for years.
Yeah, never used it. The battery was dead in it.
You never told me that.
I did.
Oh, you also had my Blood Sport shirt for 2 years before you gave it to me.
Mm. So yeah.
So I got that. Now the following thing was in the back of my trunk, and I feel bad. Well, I was an asshole. So I was cleaning out my trunk for SoCal to fit more stuff in. I found something in there that I got from my PO box probably 3 years ago, and had it in the back of my trunk and forgot about it to get it out. So someone sent me a nice letter, and they sent me they actually printed out a picture of the DVD case and to have me sign it, so I signed it. They actually went through the trouble of doing that, a laminated print, and then they sent me a self-addressed stamped envelope. So all Pat had to do, lazy bum, was sign this, stick it in it, and send it back. So I was going to do it and then send a bunch of other goodies, but I looked up the person's address. They don't live there anymore, unfortunately. Someone else lives there. I tried searching for like an hour. I couldn't find him. So I feel really terrible. This is Tony in Alabama. If you are out there, I feel really bad about this. My apologies.
Tony,
please shoot me an email with your address. I'll send you a book. I'll send you back this if I know your address. He sent me a note here. Again, this is from, I'm sorry, 4 years ago. February 2018. Makes me feel even worse. Pat, I'm the person that emailed you about the Nintendo blanket. I would like to start this letter by saying how much I appreciate a response from you. You're getting one now. Sorry, 4 years later, Tony. I also want to reiterate how much I enjoy your podcast. I'm a social worker, and while I'm documenting at work, I typically have your podcast going on in the background. I've included a picture that I request your autograph. I included a self-addressed stamped envelope so that you may return to me for your trouble. I've included an 8-bit Link figurine. I have that figurine still. Thank you. Despite its awkward shape, he's able to stand up on his own. Keep making your podcast / other videos, and I'll continue to watch them. Tell Ian I said hi.
Hi. Sincerely,
Tony. So Tony from Alabama, please get in touch with me. My apologies being 4 years late on that. That's all I can say. It was in the back of my trunk, and I forgot about it. My trunk is not the best.
Junk in your trunk.
Junk in my trunk.
All right. Battletoads and Double Dragon. It's getting a re-release by Retrobit.
An NES re-release.
An NES re-release. Again, this is where this sort of thing makes sense to me. Not with Lion King and Aladdin, but with something like
something that was hard to get.
Battletoads vs. Double Dragon, which is expensive on the NES.
Metalstorm was the first case, and that was the perfect one. It was a Metalstorm. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and they also it's stuff that's hard to get. Or never made it here, like Holy Diver. That's what makes sense to me. Open pre-order window from $4.19 to $5.22, $60. Castlemania Games. We love Ryan. I love Ryan at Castlemania Games. Heart you, Ryan. So go ahead and pre-order there. And they say that they plan to announce release the SNES version later this year, which is interesting to me because that's. Oh, and they also did the R-Type 3. That was the R-Type 3 and Super R-Type. Those are super hard to get. The SNES version isn't as hard to come by as the
not nearly.
The NES version.
No, the NES one is borderline rare. It's very uncommon.
But
rare.
It's probably a better version of the game, if I had to guess.
They're good games. I mean,
yeah, and they're popular. It's better than better than the original Battletoads. Battletoads Double Dragon still has problems, but it's definitely better than the original Battletoads.
Oh, absolutely. That's a quality game there. And then you can get them in Europe. Spiel and Sant is one of the ones you can get it in Europe because I know that because they have my books in Sweden. And there's a couple other areas I don't have the list in front of right now. So it's for pre-order right now. Pre-order window is $4.19 to $5.22, and then you can pre-order at the European retail partners later in April. And they're going to do the Super Nintendo version. They said later in the year. So that's all right. So we love Retrobit, so we're gonna help a little bit there. And then the other thing announced, Ian, was the physical Konami Cowabunga collection for $150.
For $150. So it's
$150.
It's a lot. But I do like this collection. I don't know that I would pay $150 for it, but I do like what they've done.
They're taking the Atari pricing model.
Well, they're offering more, at least. So it comes with a physical copy of the game with original box designed by Kevin Eastman, cloth poster featuring Kevin Eastman's adaptation of TMNT Turtles in Time, multi-layer acrylic diorama of Leonardo, Donatello, Raphael, and Michelangelo, enamel pin set of 5 classic designs, the Technodrome, Turtle Blimp, Party Wagon, Shredder, and Krang, set of 12 translucent comic-style character trading cards based on TMNT tournament fighters with rarely seen appearances from Wingnut, Armagon, Chrome Dome, War, Asuka, Karai, and more. So I think that's going to be coming from the Super Nintendo version.
So you do get a physical copy of the game.
Yeah, right? You do get a physical copy of the game. And a full-color art book. Knowing more about this is kind of cool. It's 180 pages, which is nice.
And what's art of just random art?
Featuring a chapter dedicated to each of the 13 games in its compilation.
Okay.
So that's pretty good. I mean, 180 page book.
Okay.
A chapter to each game divided by 13. That's like 10 pages per game. That's actually pretty decent.
Still spendy.
It's spendy. I don't have as big of a problem with this as I do the Atari ones because I feel like this is actually offering you something. It's just a matter of do you want what was offered. I do like
You're paying $110 for the extra stuff.
I do like that they got original Eastman art for it. It's not just reused stuff. That's pretty cool. And like the diorama is cool, but it's not something I would use.
The pins are cool. There's a little diorama that I guess you can put on your desk.
I like the pins.
Do people put these things on your desks, like the diorama?
I am most interested in the book it comes with, and really that would if I could flip.
Honestly, the book might be available separately at some point. It would make sense,
right? So maybe I would look at the. Well, I don't know. I've never seen books like that come out separately. Yeah, I've never seen a book included with a limited edition.
What's a value of a book like that? $25, $30, you think? Something like that? So you got that. And then you're paying for the package.
This whole thing is more expensive than I think people would want it to be.
Sure.
Simply because of it's the licensing here. I think is really a big deal. I mean, the licensing is coming from Nickelodeon. You got new art for Kevin Eastman. I don't think that magically jumps it to 150, but like I said, I think you can make the argument for the price here a little bit better than you can for those Atari collections. That said, I personally would not buy this. I will definitely buy a physical copy of the game. I'm really looking forward to this collection, but I don't need the extra stuff.
You need the extra stuff at ultimatenintendo.com, though.
Oh,
you need the enamel pins.
Woo!
You need the RBI baseball stickers. You need Ian's got to take a walk because that was such a good one. You need the NES and Super Nintendo guidebooks. I'm going to take a bow. The limited T-shirts. We sold a couple of T-shirts the past week. People are back on the T-shirt bandwagon right now. I know.
Yeah.
We sold a few T-shirts right there.
good.
We got mediums and smalls left only. We were selling them. So go to ultimatenintendo.com for all your Mother's Day needs. Your mom likes a Super Nintendo. Buy our Super Nintendo book.
That's right.
And I'm going to be on Twitch on Wednesday, twitch.tv/country code. Ian will not be there, but I will be there.
I will not.
Then I'm on Cameo, cameo.com/Pat Contry for all your well-wishing needs. And then I'll be at the Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee, April 30th and May 1st, in a week and a half. I'm excited to get out there and meet all the fine folks in there. You see the Super Mario anime back on YouTube remastered?
I have not watched it, but yes, I saw that. Who put it together? Because
I gotta look that up.
That was important.
I'm surprised it hasn't been copyright struck down yet. I guess people don't care much because it's 35 years old and it's weird. And Nintendo doesn't probably own it. You know, I mean, they own the characters. They don't own probably the rights to it. But I skimmed it. It's interesting because, as someone pointed out, I think Frank Cifali pointed out.
Frank who points out that it's from a time before Nintendo really codified everything.
Yeah. Mario was still a guy, not, a real person before they somehow existed in the Mushroom Kingdom. They went to the Mushroom Kingdom from real life. They were selling out of a shop with Luigi. Luigi wasn't green; it was like a bluish green color. And then the most adorable thing about it, skimming through it, was that they're a little blue little caterpillar doggy pet was following around. I'm like, they got to bring that little guy back. I never saw it. Someone, I guess they palled around with. They've got in the Mushroom Kingdom. It's only an hour. It's like an hour and 1 minute. And you see like some of they incorporate some of the video game music. There's a cute little section near the end where it actually goes like fully 2D like view, like you're playing in the dungeon and having it was like a little throwback. So it was very well animated and well done. So check that out when you get a chance to before it's gone or down.
Yeah, they did a full 4K restoration from
clean.
From an original 16mm print that was gotten by someone under the name of Carnival.
Oh, it was original print. I didn't see that.
5 years later in 2021, he made a deal with YouTuber Femboy Films to restore the print based on the scan Carnival had. Fellow fans Quaza and Nemu removed dust, dirt, and scratches from the print, removing thousands of individual pieces of debris. The movie was color corrected using promotional materials for reference, although much of the visual inconsistency between shots was kept because it's just how it was made.
Yeah, you got to keep that in there. You're doing hand-drawn animation, weird things are going to happen there.
Yeah. Two more fans, Tanks and Napasan, did a new audio capture, and
they did new audio capture.
Yeah.
Well, from
they created a new audio capture based on the original VHS release of the movie, creating the best audio quality this movie has ever seen.
They digitized it and then cleaned it up as best they could.
Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great. Very, very cool.
Put it on Blu-ray.
Love to see that sort of stuff. I definitely want to watch, especially if it's only an hour long. I'll just get high and watch Mario bounce around for a little bit.
It's interesting.
Oh, and they gave it definitive subtitles too.
Yes, so, if you watch on YouTube, you can click on closed caption.
These are fans who just went all out.
Yeah, I had heard, but I just never were going to see it.
So over the weekend, the GBA emulator for the Switch was leaked. Leading people are saying it's 99% sure that it's real. It looks like it was made by Nintendo, codenamed Hiroko for Game Boy and Sloop for Game Boy Advance. They hit the internet as fully compiled files, linked to a 4chan thread posted to the Pokemon board Monday afternoon. Later in the thread, original poster suggested that these emulators are official in-house development versions of Game Boy Color advanced emulators for Nintendo Switch Online, which have not been announced or released. So, not a whole lot here to say other than it looks like Game Boy Advance and Game Boy is coming to NSO. At least we hope. Same sort of thing happened before when I believe it was the N64 emulator, I believe, leaked. And later on, what do you know? We got N64 games. So, I think it's pretty... I feel like, and granted, you can't say this sort of thing about Nintendo because Nintendo will not do things just because they like to not do things. But I feel like it's kind of obvious to think that Game Boy Advance is probably on the way.
Before probably even regular Game Boy.
Yeah, I would say Game Boy or both at the same time. If the last big update to NSO Online was, N64 and Genesis, they would probably announce these as a unit.
I guess they'll wait to see if it's slowing down the number of subscribers and okay, we're going to pump it up here.
Sure.
Like I said in the past, like Nintendo ignores Game Boy so much versus every other platform that they've had that it's almost like you need a primer. The kids now using Switch, a lot of them probably need a primer on original Game Boy I'm trying to think if they just throw it out. We have all the derision when NES games get released on it.
Yeah,
and it's like you almost need like a prime. Oh, black and white, like people that I used to grow up with that. Oh, I don't watch a black and white movie. I'm not saying it's going to happen with everything. Gamers probably a little more sophisticated than that, but almost like Nintendo's got to remind people about the original Game Boy in some aspects. But that's good to hear.
Yeah,
we're all for it. I haven't. I know I never did the upgrade. Did I do the upgrade? I use my Switch like once a month, so I don't know. Because you got rid of Super Mario 35. You got rid of it. Well, that's good news there. Streets of Rage film announced.
Aren't you going to the Midwest Gaming Classic April 30th, May 1st?
I am. I already said that.
April 30th. Oh, okay. That's in one ear, not the other.
You were so shocked by how good my segue was.
Oh, yeah, that was a really good segue. Streets of Rage getting a movie from the John Wick creator, Derek Kolstad. I love that people... It's always funny to see what people associate you with, because when news about something is released, you'll get flooded. I got absolutely flooded with people telling me about this Streets of Rage movie.
I got people too, and I'm not even like the biggest fan of the series. So this is what I'm going to say real quick. When you hear movies in the works, that does not necessarily mean it's going into production.
Sure,
we got to be careful here. Obviously, Sonic's done well. Sonic is a very marketable franchise, cute, cuddly character that's had tons of iterations. Streets of Rage is a beat 'em up, right? We got to temper our expectations that this even gets made. It could get made, but it's not a guarantee it'll get made. We got to be careful here when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah, I think people were probably expecting me to be excited about this, but I'm not. Streets of Rage, it has characters that people recognize. It has a loose story about Mr. X, but we're talking the minimum of story. And what we know about the characters are, we like the characters because of their moves, because of how they look. They were stylish in a video game. This is one of those instances where there's not enough in the original video game to form it into a movie. What you're going to end up with is an action movie with probably cheesy or weird references to the game. And I don't think that's going to work.
And what would it be like? Constant fighting? Like usually you watch an action movie, there's like 4 or 5 set pieces in the whole movie, right? There's like 4 action scenes that split up the movie.
Yeah.
Better like whatever, 5-10 minutes long each, whatever. They split it up. A beat 'em up has no break in action. It's just, there's no story really. It's just like, we're going to keep beating up people.
Sure.
And that's it. So you have to have something really smart to write this. But Streets of Rage is not exactly to the casuals out there. It's not known. Sonic is known to people that don't play video games anymore. Streets of Rage is not.
I mean, it's not as popular as Sonic, sure. But I think I think you're underestimating it's how well it's known. I mean, people know it.
People we know it. Frank would know who Sonic is.
Sure.
Frank wouldn't know.
I'm not saying they're the same. I'm just saying it's not an unknown property.
I didn't say it's unknown. It's not in the same stratosphere.
Of course.
It's not in the same stratosphere. I don't think you can't bank on the name alone. That's the point.
No, absolutely not. Like I said, I think the name. The problem is people when they find out it's a video, it's a certain. You can't do it. You can't. You could, but it's.
What did Double Dragon make when that movie came out? Now I'm curious.
Oh, God.
I mean, it was a bad movie, but Double Dragon movie. Now I'm curious.
To go back off of what I said about Sonic a week or two ago, what makes Sonic work is the fact that the character itself was built up and has enough personality and history behind it that you can put them in a movie and have them act. Blaze, Axel.
You know more personalities? Hager, Cody, and Guy. Let's get that going. Final fight movie. Let's do it.
You can't do it.
Let's do a final fight movie.
They have no more personality than anyone else.
They got cutscenes and personality. What do you mean? Guy likes Jessica.
Well, there's cutscenes too in Streets of Rage. What I'm saying is if you think you can do it with Final Fight, you can do it with Streets of Rage. You can't do it with either.
You can do it with Final Fight. Let's go.
No, you can't.
You can absolutely do it.
This is just your preferences peeking out.
Let's go. Let's fucking do it. I'll write the screenplay. Just give me a couple back end points. I'll write the screenplay. Let's go. Minecraft film. This will do huge because Minecraft is gigantic. Even though it makes no sense to do a Minecraft movie, they're going to do it. Jason Momoa joins Napoleon Dynamite director on this.
Okay.
Jason Momoa is reportedly in final negotiations. This is how you know it's going to be made when they got the star on board.
Sure.
Just Live action. So this isn't like Chris Pratt voicing someone.
Weird.
What? I don't know how this is going to work.
Neither do I.
Unless it starts live action like Captain N and you get sucked into the game.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Like, it would have to be a partial, I think.
We all love Jason Momoa. What? I don't get it. We're in another resurgence of video game movies, I guess, because of Sonic's success. I guess we're gonna have some clunkers.
Oh, we're gonna have lots of clunkers.
We're gonna have 2 years of this.
Sonic worked for specific reasons.
Yes,
Sonic worked for very specific reasons that these games don't have. You don't have a central character with lots of personality.
At least they never made the Tetris movie they thought about. They never made the Pong movie. Remember the Pong movie they're gonna make?
Yeah. That Tetris movie floated around for a while. People kept being like, "It's gonna happen." No, it's not.
You want to talk about that NFT game getting hacked? Axie Infinity.
Axie Infinity got hacked to the tune of, I think, $645 million. Which one of the biggest breaches in Web3, basically.
Web3, the future, the metaverse. NFT and blockchain.
Yep.
My ass.
In addition to that, Archie decided that they were going to launch NFTs.
The comic
publisher Archie. It's a publisher. I mean, it's more than just Archie. They decided they were going to do
Pussycats.
They used to have Sonic until like 2 years ago.
Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, that's right. They were announced to an absolute thud. People just laughed. Like, Archie is so far behind the times. Like, you're announcing these as people are finally like starting to move on from them. I guess their Discord was a mess, and they immediately. I don't know if they retracted it or what.
It sounds like in order for the NFT stuff to have been success, you had to get this going last year when people were still like, "What the hell is this?" Before you realize, oh, it's a giant scam,
right?
And then you see stories every day where every day there's millions of dollars being stolen from all these NFT ventures and grifts. And the one I just saw, thanks Ian for telling me about, Web3 is going great.
Yeah, Web3 is great. Is my favorite, one of my favorite Twitter accounts right now. I told Pat about it over the weekend.
Who's Pat?
Yeah, you. It's a wonderful account that very cleanly just links to all the news stories of everything that is going wrong. Really focuses on the NFT space. And the person who runs the account, Molly White, is actually pretty pro cryptocurrency in theory. They're
in theory.
They're in theory. They think there's a lot of ways where. And I'm not really there, but they think that there is a use for blockchain and things like that, but this is not it. So they have spent, they've spent a great amount of time. So the reason I mention that is for people who are into crypto, though, this is not someone who just bashes on the whole notion of crypto. This is a person who actually thinks cryptocurrency has use cases, but NFTs do not. And it's just it's a long, give yourself an hour and just go through like the past month. It's great.
This is Prescient. Update. I just checked the Twitter 2 minutes ago. Atari cuts ties with their Atari token partner.
Holy shit, that is great. Thank you, Web3 is great.
You can't make this up. This wasn't planned.
Yeah, that's amazing.
A press release from Atari announced that the company would be cutting ties with ICICB Group in addition to Atari granting ICIB hotel and casino licenses. The original deal also had resulted in the creation of the Atari chain and Atari token, which will be used in the casino, remember? Atari token was described as decentralized cryptocurrency that was created to become the token of reference for the interactive entertainment industry. It launched on November 20th, tanking in price immediately on release. Despite a brief boom around March 2021, the token has mostly traded below its launch price.
So do you think Freddie Chesnay is going to get his ass booted out at this point? I don't think he's got anything left.
In the press release, Atari wrote, Atari disclaims any interest in the joint venture currently promoted as Atari tokens, and related websites, white papers, and social media channels are unlicensed, unsanctioned, and are outside the control of Atari. So they don't control their token anymore, it sounds like. This is fucked.
So that's what happens when Fred Chesnay... That's weird.
They also wrote that they would be replacing existing Atari tokens with new tokens in the future. Atari wrote that the termination of the hotel and casino agreements resulted in a $11.8 million write-off, but that the financial impact of the token changes wouldn't be disclosed until the 2022 financial year report.
Oh, so they're not doing the hotels anymore.
It sounds like this whole thing just blew the fuck up.
Yeah.
And they wasted $11.8 million.
Which is probably why Fred got sent off to the side and they have a new operator.
Oh, he did too as well? Okay.
No, well, Fred Chesnay, he's not the... He got...
Arts was the COO on the VCS side. Fred was always the crypto
Oh,
stuff.
okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, he might be still doing this. So basically, this is what happened. They partnered with someone to create this token. It fell out, but the token still exists out there, and it's called Atari token.
Right. So the tokens are still floating around called Atari token, even though they are not affiliated anymore with Atari.
But now this agreement's fucked. This is Web 3.0. It's a disaster.
Web 3 is great.
I read one real quick. I read another one that came up because now this happens every day. These scams get reported every fucking day. People are getting scammed,
right?
Or groups of people. I read one where someone did a legal thing where it was like, well, a lot of this blockchain shit is like, well, the laws about how you operate is codified in the blockchain.
The smart contract.
The smart contracts and number of the NFTs you own, you get more votes, right? One of these NFTs, one of them had a rule saying 2/3 majority could pass laws to dictate the terms basically of that NFT group, of that the smart contract. What someone did, and could be legal. That's the problem with this stuff. It's like this stuff can be legal because it's in the contract and it's not regulated. They took out a loan, Ian. They took out a loan to get the money to purchase 2/3 of the tokens. 2/3. They then passed a law saying all ownership of all coins go to me. I have 2/3. Now I own all of them. And then sold them.
Wow.
Off. They ruined the entire... They basically robbed the entire thing blind legally by the terms of that smart contract. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's amazing.
Web 3 is going great.
Real quick, last thing on NFTs we didn't bring up. The Jack Dorsey... God, Jack Dorsey is annoying. Sold a tweet as an NFT last year.
He was the old CEO of Twitter.
It was bought for, we don't have that information down here.
It was like 20 million, I think it was, 20, something like that.
Yeah, it was like 20 million, or I think it was like 26 million.
Okay.
Or yes.
I'll look it up real quick.
Something like that, or 2.6. Look it up, please. Thank you. The person who had it announced that they were...
Sorry. It once sold for 2.9 million.
2.9, okay. 2.9 million. The person who had it announced that they were going to sell it, and they were expecting to get something like 40 million for it, I think.
This is a URL pointing to a picture of the first tweet from 2005.
When I heard about this story, his highest offer was in the hundreds. I think eventually the final offer for this tweet ended up being like $2,000 or $3,000.
Hundreds of dollars, not hundreds of millions.
Hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of dollars.
Hundreds of single dollars.
And now it's going to get thousands.
I think it's going to get like 2,600 or 3,000 something.
This article says that it might get 14,000.
14,000.
A reflection of a maturing NFT market, meaning this is garbage.
Yeah.
This is garbage.
Yeah, reflection of a maturing.
The funny thing about that tweet is it's not even the original tweet, because the way Twitter works is that the tweet will still be there, but it'll update the look around it when you go back and reference it. The avatar change. So it wasn't even a reference of the original tweet. It was just the words.
How it looks now.
Yes.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what it shows, I think, is I think what's happening here is those original very low offers stuck for a day or two, if I'm not misremembering.
Sure.
And then what happened was you started to see it jumping up into like the 2,000-3,000s. Now you said it's at like 14,000. I think what's probably going on is people who are really invested in NFTs realized, hey, it's going to look really bad if we let this one sell for fucking chump change.
But that's chump change.
It's still chump change.
Going from 3 million to 14,000.
So I think you're seeing people who are throwing like extra money at it. Probably rich people who don't have to worry about it to try to make it look better, but you're not going to make it look better. Unless you get more than what you paid for it, it's not going to look better.
Why don't you throw 4 million at it because you realize this is done.
Right.
It's done. You can't prop it up. It's just ridiculous. We're going to run through the next two topics real quick. We still have stuff to cover.
Yes.
Warner Brothers is basically looking for a DC czar, the same way Kevin Feige is for the Marvel stuff.
Yep.
They're reshuffling because it's a fucking mess between the TV and the movie stuff. There's no connections, and we know that. And then Ezra Miller is a head case, apparently. And so all future Flash stuff with them is going to be halted. And the Flashpoint movie still has to come out this year.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they knew Ezra was a head case before and still did Flashpoint, it sounds like. And so now you might get a new Flash after only after one solo movie and 2 real movies. It's ridiculous. Warner Brothers should have done this. Obviously, from the start, we said this, but like after they kicked Zack Snyder away, they should have done it a few years ago, and they still didn't do it.
Right.
You had some properties be successful, some not. Birds of Prey tanked horribly. I tried watching it on TV, and I'm like, this is rough. And Harley Quinn is a great character in the movie, and the portrayals. It's a rough movie to watch.
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. That's rough. But the Suicide Squad was good.
It was amazing. I thought it was great.
So like it's super uneven. Wonder Woman 2 was panned by everyone as being horrible, when the first one was pretty good. So like we still have Aquaman 2 to come out with. Flashpoint, we have a Batman that doesn't exist with the Justice League universe. Superman is being done nothing with their biggest person. Superman, nothing. And so they're trying to remedy this, and it's a mess. The first Playdate reviews are getting out there, Ian.
Yep. So the Playdate has another round of impressions. I'm excited for the Playdate. I'm not happy with how they've handled the rollout. Getting that out of the way first. I like the idea of the Playdate. I understand that the batteries were bad. They said first quarter. I was expecting changing batteries in the units to take less than 4 months. I was also kind of unhappy to see another round of influencer units go out. Basically, they redid the review stuff from the summer. I know they have to have media as soon as things start going out, but we've been waiting. And it's kind of annoying to see, and I would, and people may not believe me, but I would feel this way if I had gotten one too. I think all you're doing is making people jealous and making it look like an us versus them sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you send out another round of review units for people to wave in our faces when we've been waiting, you're already behind.
The only devil's advocate thing I say is that we don't know when they were sent the units. It might have been in the fall before they discovered the problems, but it still looks weird.
Yes.
Having all the it does look weird.
Yeah, it doesn't look great.
Yeah.
Get the units out. That said, the reviews seem to be fairly positive. The one from GameStop is positive. GameSpot is positive. That was done by Stephen Petit. The one by Sam Makovich is very positive. The Metal Jesus did one, on the other hand, though, that was pretty negative on the screen. And I do have to agree. I feel like not putting a backlight on this thing was a very, very strange move.
I thought we said at the time it wouldn't be as big of a deal as we thought because of the black and white.
Probably not, and probably because of the screen. But still, it's just, why make that decision? I don't think it would have increased the price. You can't tell me it would have increased the price of it by a whole lot.
$1. I mean, like, what can it possibly be for a little
And my understanding of the Playdate is it's not like it has like a $40-hour battery life that they're trying to maintain. I think it has like an 8 to 10 hour battery life.
So that you're saying that it's already kind of okay.
So you don't really need
it's not like a Kindle that lasts like forever.
Right. You can't say, well, because we don't have the backlight in there, it lasts for 40 hours.
I'm surprised. It's only 8 hours on that?
I think it's 8 to 10. I think.
So you know how Kindles can last like 3 days because it's just like that. It's just
my Kindle has like a battery that's probably 50% spent, and I can still get like I still get probably 24 hours of reading out of it.
Those are legendary, the batteries, because it's not a lot of power draw on it. On that. So
I don't mean to sound negative. I mean, I'm still very, very much looking forward to this. I really want to play.
But the combination of the influencers getting their stuff and you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I want a backlight on this now. Well, that's what the Super Playdate's for.
Right. But
it's like the Game Boy Advance all over again.
Especially when you look at the review by the GameSpot review, they do show a lot of pictures of it in action, and it doesn't look like it's that bad without the backlight. It just strikes me as a very strange choice. So
it depends, I guess, how bright that can get, the white, because obviously black's gonna be black. So
Group 1 is rolling out right now.
Okay.
I'm in Group 1. Playdate said it was going to take them a month to ship out everyone in Group 1.
A month for it's like 20,000?
So I don't know where I'm at in that. I still haven't gotten the email. That also kind of bums me out. Again, not to sound negative, but the whole interesting thing about Playdate to me, it's not the crank that sold me. I like little gadgets.
You want the schedule of release.
It's the schedule of releases. Yeah. It's the group discovery thing. It's the notion that in a perfect world, everyone is playing the same game at the same time and discovering at the same time, which is going to foster discussion.
It's how we're consuming media now on TV. Like a new episode comes out, everyone watches it.
But Playdate's season of games starts when you get it. So if I get mine in a week and someone gets theirs in 4 weeks, we're not going to be on the same page.
Are you sure that can't be changed? Because that seems like a really weird thing to do. Like,
yes, I know you don't want to find something to dislike here, but yes, that's how they're doing it, and they've said it many times.
But that doesn't make any sense. If you're behind everyone, if I get this,
I agree.
If I get mine in September, why do I got to wait 3 months to play everything?
To see everything that everyone's been talking about. Yeah, it's dumb.
They're gonna change. They're gonna change that. That's awful. They have to change that.
There's got to be a. I feel like there's got to be a real time option.
They have to change that. There's no, the surprise is gone. You're saying I'm going to be locked to play my 24 games. It's going to take me 6 months to get them, or no, it's 2 weeks. It's still 3 months. That's ridiculous.
It makes sense to do that if everyone is doing it at the same time. Yes. So if there's a season 2 and season 2 starts on December 1st, or something like that,
and people have
that's great. That's when I like the idea, but the idea. I feel like they should have thought about it a little more. It's a neat idea, but only if everyone has them in their hands and they're all starting from square one.
Yes.
And if you get it late, I don't believe you should have to wait.
No, thank you. I think they'll change that. There'll be a discovered way to get around that. I think there.
There's going to be a way around it, I'm sure.
Because this is an open system. This is an open system.
I feel like there's a way around it. I just don't feel like there's. Yeah.
Well, they're still feeling things out. I think on that side, Panic, but but hopefully hopefully we'll have a full review. Hopefully in a month or so. We'll see when Ian gets it. And then finally, breaking news via people tweeting at us: Intellivision Entertainment made their Earthworm Jim video private.
The game that was never ever going to happen, more than any of the other games, that you got a 2-second clip of a piece of animation on. They left that video up through thick and thin, through all questions. Why? Because Earthworm Jim was pretty much the only thing that was giving them any sort of interest outside of a group of psychophans.
Yes.
By taking this off, I think this to me is a big admittance of defeat. It's the last thing that would get knowledge out there.
Well, the rights holders to Earthworm Jim probably said, what the fuck are you doing? This has hundreds of thousands of views, and this ain't happening. We know that.
Sure.
Take the video down.
That as well. You can look at it a couple ways.
Because that video got way more views than anything else on the channel. Once they put it out originally, it was part of their October 2020, August 6th, originally August 5th. Remember, they put it back the day, August 6th, 2020, where they announced this isn't coming out in 3 months, even though we knew it wasn't coming out months before that in October. They then took that part of the end and then put it as his own video, and that got hundreds of thousands of views.
Yeah.
And then we said, no one's working on this. This is like a fucking Adobe animation we're seeing from After Effects.
Yep.
Smoke and mirrors. It was fraudulent to do that bullshit. And probably the rights holders, whoever has Earthworm Jim, not looking up, said, all right, this is done. Why are you using it? This is bullshit. That's probably what happened with it.
Also, I'd like to point out that Zadok Payet has not been active on Reddit in approximately 169 days. Oh, boy. Which would have been right around the time that he tried to smear us.
And call me a racist.
That awful piece of shit. Hey, Zadok, you want to have a dialogue? Where are you, buddy? You scared?
You can apologize.
Fucking moron.
You can apologize again at a convention, I guess. You can do that. There. All right. Well, that's good. And that's it for the intro. The ding goes off like a flambe is getting cooked.
That was a marathon intro.
48 minutes. We've done longer.
We have.